And we're on. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. And big thanks to Geordie for joining. He's a good mate of mine over in the UK and full time now, sleep coach. He's left his 9 to 5. Mate, what else do I need to tell you about? Actually, Blake just run the whole length of the UK. Forgot to mention that. Doing some very cool things in his life, which is really exciting and really appreciate your time today, mate. I want to ask you first, like, you were working as a recruiter not too long ago in London. What got you into the sleep? Like, what started the obsession, mate?
Yeah, it's good. And thanks for having me, guys, by the way. And I appreciate everybody giving me their time as well. I know it's probably a little bit late and we might be dipping into the wind down period. So if you fall asleep, I hope that's actually a good thing, but I dare say you're going to get something out of this. But no, Chloe, so my journey started 2 years ago when I was training for a Muay Thai fight in December. So I'll just give some timelines. This was the 8th of May. Unfortunately, when you're a 100 kilo big fella and you're versing other 100 kilo big fellas in sparring, I shifted the wrong way and a bloke hit me in the back of the head, and I ended up getting a mild traumatic brain injury. And over here, lads, unfortunately, the NHS system isn't as strong as we've got back home in Australia. And I went to go see somebody, went down this big path, all this long-winded bullshit. And in short, I was told, yeah, it's not looking really that great. So I had to go on a bit of a journey to figure out how much you're going to get better. I had referring pain all through my shoulders, all through my neck, waking up every day in tears. My sleep was fragmented, broken. I'm a big personality. I lost my personality. I'm going out. Everyone's going, "Oh, Geordie, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you talking?" And, I'm sitting there at pubs over here in the UK. It's a very big thing. And yeah, I lost my whole identity. But it wasn't until, fortunately enough, as an Aussie bloke, I got put in touch with a sports doctor, and this was after 3 months of seeing every man and their dog, calling my mum and my dad to say that, fuck, I think I might be coming home. And, mum and dad were like, we're on the first plane over there, Geordie, we want to bring you back home. You need to see doctors and specialists in Australia. And I'm going, nah, I'm going to figure this out on my own. Got a message from a bloke back home saying, Geordie, I know a guy in London. He's got a place in Harley Street in New York. And for those that don't know, which means he sounds really expensive. So I booked in to see him, used my Australian charm to get through. He was in London for one day and he's like, I'll see you if you can get to my place in the next hour. So off I hop on a line bike, referring pain like you wouldn't believe. It felt like I'm wearing a shower cap and everything was pulling the back of my head. And I get to his place. I have a chronological timeline of almost every single breath that I've took because I was so anxious over the whole process. I was a completely different human. I walk into his elevators. We go upstairs, and the first thing he says to me, he goes, "Mate, if I could get you right, would you get back into fighting?" And I've gone, "Brother, I have half a brain working. What kind of question is that?" Right? So off I go into his suite. His suite looked like an extra set for Transformers, had all the gears and gadgets and everything as well. I've gone, Jesus Christ, what have I
I'm
walked in?
struggling to know how this gets to sleep here.
Yeah. And so he goes to me, "We're going to jab you up with a cortisone injection in the base level of your neck. You're going to get 2 to 3 months of pain free, but then your pain's going to come back." He goes, "You're going to have to do two things after that. You're going to have to learn how to sleep and do yoga." And I've gone, "Mate, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not going from trying to crush people's skulls to saying namaste." And he's like, "Well, you've tried everything, mate. So why don't you try this?" I've gone, he might be right. So I was pretty competitive. So after I left, he goes, "By the way, mate, I can't help you with your sleep journey. You've got to figure it out yourself." Went back home, Googled how to train my sleep. And now, naturally, I can see all of us in here. I know you'd have Whoops. I know you'd have Garmin's. You understand the optimization world that we live in. I then became obsessed with trying to train my sleep. And I developed a medical term called ortho insomnia, which is the perfection of perfect sleep aided by trackables. So I was looking at all
Okay.
my behaviors. And if I didn't have a 95 sleep score, I would think that that day failed. Right. So it wasn't
Mm.
great. Naturally, as well, I was going to bed every night at 8:30. My girlfriend was coming home and I'd say, "No, don't turn the lights on." So from an intimacy perspective, yeah, it was really grim, right? It's brutal.
Alright, so this is gonna be the one end of the spectrum,
This
and then we're
yeah,
gonna
this is
might
where we're
start
getting to.
dissecting.
Don't
Alright.
stress, right?
Uh,
I've gone through it all, gentlemen, so you guys don't have to, right?
Before we go any further, I just wanna make a note here that Cade, who's just joined the call, had a 100 sleep score recently. Just
My
ticked it
man.
off the ticked it off the list, bucket list,
Well,
mate. How
Second
good?
welcome to the
time.
crew.
Second time.
Second
Cade,
time, sorry.
how
I've
did you
yet to
feel,
get it,
Cade?
so
Mate, honestly, I should have bought a lottery ticket the day after. Like it was fantastic.
Man, we
that's
go again.
unreal, mate.
And then
So
sorry, Kelly, go on.
no, you go. Finish off.
Sorry, I'm just in the flow. I get very excited about
Yeah.
this because it's
I'm just also conscious of the time. I've got so many questions to get
yeah.
to, and we gotta start getting
We're
into
almost
the
there. And long story short, trained my sleep to an elite level after going through hell and back, ran the length of the UK. And then when I was out in the UK, I said, you know what I want to do? I want to help people sleep. That's what I want to do. Went online, got a sleep science certificate for coaching, and the rest is history. And now I am here. And what I do is I help. My target market is high performing men. I work at high performing schools here in London as well. Harrow, I develop sleep programs. And my life at the last 4 months has been so chaotic and great, but all because I took a risk, and the rest is history now to help people sleep. So, Coe, take it away, my man.
I love it, man, and I mean, it wasn't too long ago since I was speaking to you in London when you were at your normal 9 to 5, and I'm really proud of what you've done, and I'm loving seeing you so hyped about your passion, so that's really good. Before we go any further, gentlemen, really appreciate your time. This is as much a Q&A as it is that I'm gonna be asking questions and sort of guiding the conversation, so if at any point in this call you've got a question, fucking hand up, bang, just yell it out, and Geordie will try his best to answer it. It's meant to be, we're all learning together, and we want to give the information that you guys want to hear. So, I guess, does anyone have any questions first up before I lead off? No.
I have one, which was,
Yeah.
now that you have all your experience and have all your qualifications, do you find that you still use your wearables as a main way to track, or are you beyond that now?
No, it's a great question, Cade. And what I use when I say with everybody with the devices is use it when you understand your actual body first. Too many times, Whoop, Garmin, all these gadgets and gizmos will start painting pictures that you have no idea. And from a psychological point of view, Cade, it's not great. I use them when I want to use them, right? And if they're there and they tell me I get a good night's sleep, great. But I have a subjective understanding of my own sleep. I do think it's important to look at where your metrics are going. But I think if you obsess over it and you are optimizing all the time, that is not healthy because if you get a bad night's sleep, what is that going to dictate your training from a metric point of view, or are you still going to go out and train? Now, look at you guys here. I know you're going to go out and train, but when it comes to the devices, there is a place for them, but only when you are ready to understand and use them.
Cool. Thank you.
Great first question. Jan, go. Oh, we can't hear you, Jan. Something might be
Can't hear
muted,
you,
mate.
Jan.
What about now?
Gotcha.
Yep.
So from the metrics we have, like obviously one night sleep doesn't mean anything, but when you look at a trend over, say, a couple of days, which metric is kind of the one that jumps out to you at first? That is kind of, okay, this is not getting good. And then how do you, like, what do you do from there?
Yeah, great question, Jan. The gold standard for tracking sleep is a thing called an EEG, which is where you stick basically spaghetti-like gadgets on your brain to analyze your slow wave sleep, deep wave sleep. So do these devices have the exact same ability to do that? No, right? So if you're going to have, and a lot of these devices, like if we're any Whoop users in here, they will ping you if you overstrain, and it'll try sending you to bed at 7:30, 7:23. So I have mastered, I've probably got over 40 100s on a Garmin and over 100 hundreds on the Whoop, right? And what I've realized, Jan, is that there's going to be some singular nights where, due to life reasons, you're not going to be able to sleep that well. You move on. But over an extended period of time, what I do believe is because the metrics have their built-in algorithms, if you aren't sleeping well and these metrics are then reflecting that over a sustained period of time, let's say 7 days, like your question there, Jan, then I would start having a look at my habits towards sleep.
Fair.
Good answer. Good question as well. Really like
Great
that.
question.
Kano, you got anything at the moment? Don't have to as well. Sorry.
Not too much. I mean, like I've been having like a bit of trouble with my sleep recently. Just where like I'll do all my workouts during the day. Like I mean, I just came off like the build kind of month where I'd have like a 3.5 hour ride and then like an hour and a half run, and I'd get home probably early afternoon, do everything. Sometimes put my daughter to bed, and then I'd be sitting there watching TV, and I'd be so tired, and then I'd go to bed, and then I'm just awake, and I'm like,
Geordie's Jordy's gonna eat this one up, mate.
Yeah.
Jordy's gonna eat this one up.
Yeah, nah, Kano, it's really common. I get this all the time, and I dare say what you're feeling is you're tired, but you're wired. So you like your body's physically ready, but are you mentally ready for bed? Maybe not. Where I would say with guys like you and everybody in this call that are training at, I dare say, I think looking at Coey's notes, everyone probably trains anywhere between 8 to 15 hours per week. I would say that's just a ballpark of what you guys training, right? You have to still find time, Kano, to work on what is going inside here, right? Because you might be physiologically ready for bed, but psychologically, we're not ready for bed. So I would never put a time frame on or a timeline for you to say, my bedtime is 9:30. And yes, I built up all this sleep pressure. That's an unbelievable training day, by the way, Kano. You in your mind are thinking in your head, hang on, I should be ready for bed, right? And your body is telling you these signs. But if you're forcing yourself or thinking, I better get to bed because I've decided that my time frame to bed is 9 o'clock, 9:30, it's not how it works, right? And you've got other things as well. You've got a young daughter. So there's a lot of lifestyle factors, family factors, behavior factors as well, Kano, that impact that as well. But you just need to start then after these big training days, Kano, create a repetition, a little tick box for where your brain is seeing something and it aligns it with safety and shutting down your nervous system. Because if you don't do that, Kano, you're just going to be sitting there in bed, lying up there going, oh, wow, I've done 4 hours of physical activity. Why can't I sleep? It's not how it works. Your body's physically ready, but your mind needs to be ready as well. After the work that I've done, I would say sleep is 99.9% psychological.
Wow, that's a big number. In my experience, I've had some conversations with you in the last couple of months, Geordie, about some really awful nights of me trying to sleep. I would, similar to Kane, I would do all my training, I would build all this sleep pressure, I'd get to the nighttime, be so exhausted, get into bed, do my routine, lay down, and then just be like staring at the wall. And the first thing that Geordie said to me was just like, get out of bed, man. Stop sitting there. Don't look at the wall. Don't try harder to sleep. Get out of bed. Go and watch a movie, or that movie's not a good example there. Read a book or do something else to keep building that sleep pressure for another 45 hour and a half, whatever it may be, until you're just like, oh my God, I'm done. I'm absolutely cooked, and then go to bed. And you're sacrificing a little bit of sleep, but and for you boys, some of you boys that are on such tight schedules as well, it can be a fine line between doing that, but it's way better than just staring at the wall in bed, trying harder to sleep, if that makes sense. Geordie, a little bit of this physiology of it.
Yeah, physiological.
What if we like start to have poor sleep, right? What breaks down first? Like, what are we going to experience, and yeah, like where do we go from there?
Yeah, it's a great question, Coey. The thing that I say to anything about sleep is I have a chart that I do when I do my keynotes. Is sleep powers the life that you want to live, and the life that you want to live powers sleep, right? So how are we showing up to these sessions? How are we then consolidating the gains from these sessions? And now all of you guys here, you're not mucking around when you're getting into the Ironman stuff, right? You guys are a different category of beasts as it is, right? So you understand the importance of this, but it's the psychological and the emotional regulation of boom, alarm goes off, 3:45, you've got a long ride Saturday morning, you're going, oh God, how do I do it? Right. And it is tough. I cannot stress that it is tough. But if you are making a conscious decision to adhere to your sleep, and the ROE, I don't call it ROI, the return on energy you're going to get from that is two things, right? Your mindset when you wake up, you're going to go, oh, today's a little bit easier. And that's all you guys need. We're in the game of marginal gains, right? We don't need this big, I feel amazing, this is going to be impossible. It's I feel a little bit better, which means today's session got a little bit easier, right? Now, if we flip that and we're continuously not sleeping well and we're not adhering to respecting sleep, those sessions just got a lot harder. And then that's when the cause from, oh, actually, shit, Coey said I've got to do an hour and a half session. Oh, I don't know. I might just try 45 minutes. And you start then developing habits under fatigue and stress and being tired. And we want to flip it the other way where you've gone, actually, I'm feeling good. I'm showing up to these sessions. I'm getting something out of these sessions. And then I'm consolidating the gain from a memory point of view as well. Alrighty. And then from a physiological point of view, that you're going to bed at night and you've gone, oh, I've got a sense of accomplishment. And I'm actually recovering from a sleep perspective from our muscle repairment.
Yeah, sick. If anyone else got questions, dive in. Otherwise, I've got another really good one here. That
I
Liam,
have
chime
another
in,
one.
mate.
Oh,
Yeah,
Liam.
I have one. I'm curious on, like, with sleep, is there a priority in like hours of sleep, like say getting 8 hours, or if you want to do, say, sleep bedtime versus wake time? Like, is any of those three more important than the others, or like, yeah, I guess that.
Yeah, great question, Liam. Yeah, I love that. And I think that 8 hours is an arbitrary number, Liam. Sleep cycles go in 90 minutes, right? And I worked with Nick Littlehales, who's one of the best sleep coaches in the world. He's worked with like Arsenal, Chelsea, all these crazy teams, right? And I think the pressure as a male for wanting to strive for 8 hours because it's competitive. I'm getting 8 hours sleep, right? It's all bullshit. You need to get the right amount of quality sleep for you, Liam. So if you're continuously, someone's going, you're getting 8 hours sleep, getting 8 hours sleep, what do you think that's doing to you psychologically? No one's getting 8 hours sleep. I asked that question. When I started coaching at the start, Liam, I'd ask people that and they'd go, they get defensive. So you need to find out what is a realistic duration that you can get. And then we look at the quality of sleep that you can get from that duration. Now, if that's 6 hours over a periodic time, Liam, we've got some work to do to then try and increase your duration. But if we're getting 7 hours and you're feeling good and you're waking up and the first thing your brain will assess is what type of sleep you have. You wake up and go, I'm actually feeling okay. Man, 7 hours is great. But we don't want to then start striving for more because you've read a book or you listen to a podcast or some bloke on Instagram say that you've got to get 8 hours. You need the right specific sleep for you, and it's always quality over quantity, right? But again, eight hours to me, and what I've seen is an arbitrary number, and people chase it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
How does someone know like how to get quality sleep for them?
Yeah, good question, Chloe. Quality sleep is you'll feel it in the morning from a subjective point of view. You know when you wake up. The first thing you do, like I said before, when you wake up, is your brain is assessing well, what type of sleep that you had. You're going to then tell yourself, oh, I feel all right today. I feel okay today. Oh, actually, I feel pretty good today. Now, you can still have a great sleep and still be stressed out in the morning. And so there's all these sleep is so multidimensional with how it actually works. But in order to get a good quality sleep, it's the basics. You got to get back to the basics with all the sleep hygiene, cool room, darkness at night, locking in your circadian rhythm with a wake up time, right? And this is the way that it works. I truly believe with sleep is you've got to attack the human element first, then give the science. No one wants to hear the science first unless you feel heard as a human, right? Because all the science is out there. You can go, I tell people this, go to ChatGPT, write yourself a sleep plan. Are you going to follow it? No, because it doesn't understand you as a human. So good quality sleep requires discipline, habits, and consistency, right? And your brain is a repetition monster. All it wants to see is he's doing this. Okay, next phase. He's doing this. Now, when we look at our bedroom, for example, your bedroom is only used for two things, which is sleeping and having sex, right? If you start changing the formula in your bedroom, and if I say this, bed, sleep, bed, sleep, bed, sleep, and you start doing bed, sleep, doom scroll, read book, watch TV, you're going into that room and your brain's going, hang on a minute, what is this room used for now? So at the very least to separate that space. And like Cowie said before, when I was getting him to get out of the room, that bed can only be used for sleep or having a good long cuddle with your partner.
Vinny, go. Vinny's about to ask what's the benefit.
Yeah, what's next? No, if you know you can't get like a full whatever you need 7 or 8 hours, should you still stick to the same wake up time, or should you try sleep in for another hour or so, or should you just try wake up at the same time and keep the circadian rhythm in check?
Before Geordie answers this, if you take one thing away from this call, it is this answer. Great question, Finn, and please listen to this.
So your circadian rhythm, Finn, relies on you to have an anchored wake up time. Now, I know a lot of you, I'm going to just do two examples of this because this is very specific to everybody in the room, right? You think about it, Finn. Let's look at I call it the weekend warriors, right? So Monday to Friday, my guys that I'm training, they're great. They're waking up at 6 a.m. every day. All of a sudden on the weekend, or if they don't have training, they go, I want to sleep in. Why do you want to sleep in? Because I'm tired. Well, that means we're not getting enough sleep throughout the week to then repair ourselves. So if you start shifting your circadian rhythm and you start changing your wake up time, Finn, everything else then starts taking its time to shift and move at a different time. Your body's going, hang on a minute. Yesterday we woke up at 6. Now you're waking me up at 7:30. Yesterday you had breakfast at 7. Now I'm having breakfast at 8:30. Now I'm having lunch at 2 when I used to have lunch at 1. You're sending all these confusing signs to your body's master time clock, right? So to anchor your circadian rhythm, the easiest thing to do, which we can control via alarms, is anchor that wake up time. Now, I know a lot of you here will be thinking, oh, but shit, I can't do that on the weekends. Guess what? We accept and we move on. If you are doing a training session that requires you to be up at 4 a.m. for a long ride on the weekend, that's too bad. That's okay. I don't want you to stress about it and go, oh, well, but Jordan said where it starts to get bad is if that you do 6:30 on a Monday, 6:30 on a Monday, 7 on a Tuesday, and 7:30, and you start shifting it because you might be working from home, you might want to sleep in, but you have to anchor that wake up time, Finn, as best that you possibly can. That doesn't start shifting your circadian rhythm around too much, because when you start doing that, you're playing a dangerous game of you're giving yourself jet lag, basically.
So I think the takeaway there is that in an ideal world, right, in the perfect world, we're having the exact same alarm on every single day of the week. That's the ideal situation. But the ideal situation doesn't always happen. Life gets in the way, training happens, relationship happens, whatever it is. And the key learning is that if that happens, you move on and you go past it. You don't feel guilty. You don't, right? But I think the ideal situation for anyone here that has the time and can anchor that time and wants to improve their sleep, pick a fucking time that you can wake up every single day and then do it. Now, a question for you, Geordie, is for me, when I'm in, say, Perth in the summer, my wake up time is probably going to be different to my wake up time in the winter in the Netherlands, right? When I'm traveling there. So, yes, I want this anchor time, but does it change throughout the seasons in an ideal situation?
Great question, Chloe. It's environment based, gentlemen, right? And your circadian rhythm, there's also a massive factor. There's two things, right? You can be an early chronotype or a late chronotype, which is a biological thing that you've got given to you by your parents. Do you prefer naturally waking up in the morning, or do you prefer sleeping and going to bed later at night? Now, we're in a society where you have to wake up early. That's just how it is, right? But if you change your environment, let's use Chloe's example, where sun's coming up nice and early, and you don't have blackout curtains, you're not able to make sure your room's complete darkness, you're going to wake up. The light is expecting you to wake up. Think our caveman era, get up, let's do something about it, right? Whereas then I've just come out of UK winter, and honestly, I could go to bed some nights at 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm exhausted because I've been surrounded by darkness since 2:40 p.m. So you've got to be realistic with your environment that you're in. And if you start creating unrealistic expectations and not changing and shifting with time zones as well, sun come up, sun come down, you're creating a bond that isn't going to be, year round, I would say. So just be cautious for wherever you guys are checking in and coming in from when the sun comes up, getting sunlight first thing in the morning, when darkness appears, to get that melatonin production. You need to just be wary of your environment and not be too hard on yourself that it is going to change and shift over the seasons.
All right. So general rule as consistent as we can, and then change it slightly to environmental factors. Kay, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Jordan, what is your opinion on naps?
Naps are great, Cade. They're awesome. We put too much pressure and emphasis on one singular extended period to sleep, which is our nighttime, right? I'm a big napper, but naps you have to understand two things with naps. One, they remove sleep pressure. So let's use Kano's example the other day. He did a 4-hour training session, and he's gone, shit, I might take a nap in the afternoon. He then has removed his sleep pressure for that big singular nighttime sleep. So you need to be wary of that. Everyone always goes, oh, but don't nap later than 12 o'clock. What? Like, if you're tired and you're exhausted and you take a nap, you're getting anywhere. I set an alarm for 37 minutes so I can get about half an hour, right? And then I know that night, okay, that I'm gonna have to stay up a little bit later because my body is not gonna be ready for sleep. If you can nap, absolutely nap. All the UFC fighters, everybody takes naps, but you have to understand a nap is getting you rest, which is great, but a nap is also then shaving off your sleep pressure for that night. So you need to be wary and you need to plan ahead if you are going to nap.
Cool. Good question. I like that.
Yeah, I
Yarn.
got one more. So, like before, you were saying you mainly just look at how am I feeling in the morning? Did I sleep well or not? But apart from that, like, what does actually good sleep mean in your eyes? How do you even track like metrics wise, or do you even look at metrics to check that? And then secondly, as an example, like my girlfriend, she does not want a cold room, right? She wants a warm room. For me, I sweat. I want a cold room. So how do you go about that? How do you go about that?
Oh god, that would drive me insane.
Maybe, yeah, it might maybe time to go in the spare room, Jan. Let's get you in the doghouse, brother, and so you could start sleeping well. I'll answer your first question, Jan. So, yeah, sleep is so subjective. Who am I to tell you how you feel in the morning? I can't get into your brain, but you can feel, and if you wake up, Jan, you've got a bit of energy about you. You've you've rationalized what the stresses look like today, and those stresses aren't overbearing for you. Those are good signs that you've had a good sleep, right? Because you are analyzing the day you've got ahead. That's the first thing you're going to do in the morning, right? So it's you can look at the metrics all you want. I think the great metrics to look at, if you want to dive into the metrics, is certainly resting heart rate, right? Because you naturally, if you're more relaxed, your body's going to relax, nervous system shut down. That's great. You'll notice spikes in resting heart rate if you've had dinner late or carbs too late in the nighttime as well, spikes your insulin. So there's some things you can look at. HRV is another great one, I do believe as well. HRV is a good one to look at in terms of sickness, I would say, and training fatigue as a whole. Those are great ones to look at. But again, I had HRV the other day of, I don't know, like 20% less, and I still went out and trained and did the exact same training session. So
I was 47 yesterday. Usually it's like in the in the
yeah,
80s.
and
47
and you
yesterday.
still went out and got at it, Jan?
Yeah. I'm a bit of a cold, and then just a hard week, but got
Yeah.
the run done.
Exactly right. So you still went and got it done. So we don't want these metrics to. I would again to your question, like you said before, over a 7-day period, if your HRV is dropping, brother, let's address it. What's going on there? And now for your girlfriend, Jan. Well, I don't know what to say, brother. No, it's a serious thing. It's a conversation that you have to have with your partner, and an open conversation that you have to have. Is she in this earshot? Because I know I'm very loud as well.
She's
We're not naming and shaming over here.
Oh
Let's get the
no.
AirPods in,
Oh.
Jan. Let's get the AirPods in. But I get this
Yeah.
question a lot, and blokes, we are heavy, sweaty dudes. I sleep in my jocks. My girlfriend over here is in full pajamas, thermal socks on, right? And I've asked her numerous times that I have to have the window open in London over here to get some fresh, cool air because I know that it works for me. And yeah, it's just a discussion that we've had, and she's understands her body and I understand my body, and it's coming to a what's fair for both of us, and I hope that answers your question.
That's a cold room.
Get the cold room, brother. I didn't want to say it, but if she can listen to me,
Oh,
she'll sleep better eventually as well. With team effort.
I love it.
Perfect. Cool.
Geordie, we've spoken a little bit about some of the things that help with sleep. You know, cool room. You mentioned just then, like trying to eat a little bit earlier in the day. Can you dive into some of these things that we can do to really try to help our sleep and improve our sleep?
Yeah,
And
there's
and
four
and
mate. Sorry, go.
sorry to add to that as well. Can give us sort of like a list. I think you just said there's 4 things that you should think of. Can you also prioritize them for us? I wanna know sort of like which levers, if we pull, give us the most benefits, if any.
Yeah, great question, Code. There's 4, they're called Zygabers, right? Which is external cues you can send to your brain. The first one is light and darkness. So we'll use the light component first. When you're waking up in the morning, getting light straight away into your eyes. It's only 5-10 minutes that you need. Any light is better than no light. Now, clearly, if we're going to the bathroom first thing in the morning, we've all got those big jittery lights going on there. We don't want those lights because they overshock our system, right? So the first thing is light. Similarly, in the nighttime is darkness, but light becomes before darkness. The second thing is timings of the day. Eating is critically important. You can eat the right things at the wrong time of the day, right? So when you think about it, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we associate them with specific times of the day. Your body is expecting food when it understands, okay, I'm getting it fed at this time of the day, this time of the day, this time of the day. Now, clearly, lifestyle factors, environmental factors change, but if we can adhere to a range of eating, let's say, north 30 minutes of breakfast time, lunchtime, and dinner time to try to stay that's going to be a really strong point for your circadian rhythm. The next is timings of training. Now, again, this is extremely generic advice to all of you, but if you can train, and it's the hardest thing to do to train earlier in the morning, we call that a double banger, right? You're getting the morning sun, morning outdoors, morning exposure, morning absolutely everything, plus you're building sleep pressure in the morning. If we train too late at night and you're doing I don't know, Coey's got you doing a high intensity session and it's close to bed, you're going to feel it. You're going to go to bed that night and your heart's pumping, your brain's going, hang on a minute, but I see darkness, and darkness is a sign that it's relaxing and calming, and you're out there running 40 kilometers, right? And the last thing, which is Jan's favorite, is, funnily enough, temperature is critically important. In the morning, we need heat to rise, and the nighttime, we need the cold to lower our body temperature to then get into bed, and then our body temperature rises with us naturally. And then those are the four main cues. So I'll go through that again. Light and darkness. Second time is eating. The third is exercise throughout the day. If you can do the mornings, the absolute key. And the last is temperature. Now, that is a very generic advice, but that is what the science says when it comes to anchoring supporting your circadian rhythm.
Oh, man, I love chatting to you. Every time I speak to you, I feel like I walk away, I'm gonna have the best night's sleep ever. Any other questions? Who else? Yeah,
I've got one. I got one specific around sort of late evening training where it's unavoidable. I've got a high intensity session. I've had a run in the morning, for example, but I have to get on the bike and get it done. It is a hard session. I need to have my recovery and nutrition afterwards. That has to happen, otherwise I can't recover. So I've sort of been sort of trying to find what works, because if I'd have a proper meal, I can't sleep for 2 or 3 hours. Are there better things to have? I've sort of switched to smoothies now with this pretty specific one that seems to be working. Is there any pointers or anything that we can get better with there?
Yeah, Daniel, good question. Late meals at night are going to have to happen, right? They're in your specific situation, it's actually quite unavoidable, right? But if you can front load a lot of your nutrition that you need throughout the day, and then obviously you need to refuel after in a form where it's not going to be jiggling around in your stomach, and you can get all the right macros in, and it seems like smoothies are able to work, great. But one thing that I do want you to do now, Daniel, sorry, I called you David before, is after you eat at the dinner time, I need you to just go for a 5 to 10 minute digestion walk. No phones, nothing. Alrighty. And that helps with digestion massively. If you can, 5 to 10 minutes, right? If you're having a big carb heavy meal, you've had a really hard session, you need to find a way to help with your digestion. And we can't just, so many of us will smash a big meal, go on the couch, I'll just take 5-10 minutes here, and you slip away. And naturally, you are tired from that session as well. But you have to think about, well, if I'm doing this for 5-10 minutes, this is then helping me with my sleep, which I'm getting a good quality night's sleep, hopefully 6 to 7 hours in your example there, Daniel, then the ROI on that is going to be massive for me. So yeah, when also as well, I wouldn't beat yourself up doing the sessions late at night, but just be wary of not forcing yourself to go to bed early because you've just done a hard session. You will have to stay up a little bit later, Daniel, in order for your body to calm down before you try to send it to bed. Because if you're going to bed and your heart's pumping out of your chest and you're staring up at the wall, you're now creating an association and a bond that you're going to bed wired and you're not actually ready for bed.
Yeah, I've tried it. It just doesn't work. But yeah,
Yeah.
everything you said, I'm making every single mistake here. So
Wow.
I'm looking forward to more questions so I can realize what else I'm doing wrong.
No, don't forget, Daniel, sleep is, whilst I love speaking about sleep and I'm very passionate about sleep, I am critically aware that sleep is so individual, right? It is so individual. There's so many factors in life, and it's great to give all these awesome generic advice and pinpoint all these questions, but it really is, you've got to find out what is actually stopping you from sleeping and what are the things you can then add to your arsenal to help you get a better night's sleep. But at the same time as well, you don't want to put all this pressure on you to go away from this call and go, shit, I'm doing all these things wrong. No, right? Small little micro changes over a large period of time will give you the biggest yield for sleep.
Thanks very much. That's a really good answer.
Love it, Daniel. Anything else from anyone? Yeah, Liam, take it away.
I've got a question. I've sort of developed, I don't know if it's a bad habit, but like whenever I go to sleep, I always will either take generally my phone and watch a bit of YouTube in bed. And that every time it's like reading, it just knocks me out and it works. But I'm aware that it's blue light phones right in my face. I'm wondering if that actually will affect, because I don't think it feels good for me. Like I fall asleep mid video half the time and it still works, but I'm wondering if that's something I should probably try avoid doing.
you just said it to yourself, Liam. Does it work?
Yeah, it does.
It works, brother. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where it's when people come up to me, Liam, sometimes they go, Jordy, I'm a great sleeper. Full stop, man. I don't want to hear any more. Right? And if that works for you, awesome. And you're feeling in the morning, Liam, you're feeling refreshed. Blue light obviously isn't great, but it's what we're consuming. Now, naturally, if we're scrolling or we're doom scrolling and you're like, you need to be eating 40,000 eggs and have $1 million in your bank account, you're like, far out. I'm a nobody. And you're going to bed that night. And those are the types of things you're consuming, then you're going to be feeling shit. But if you're just watching, what do you watch, Liam? Go and share it to the group. What's your YouTube?
Honestly, it depends on the day. Sometimes I'm watching random history facts, random
Awesome.
YouTube videos, movie
Great.
I'm doing exactly the
breakdowns,
same
whatever.
thing. This is awesome. I do the
Daniel.
same thing.
Yeah, you boys aren't watching. You boys aren't watching like, I don't know, like crime scene investigations or like murder stuff where you're on edge, being like, if you don't watch the next video, like I've got to watch the next video. You're watching mindless stuff. I call it the Friends and what else is there? Friends in the Office theory, right? I get people to watch Friends in the Office all the time. Why do you think we do that? Because you know the outcome of the story that you're watching. It's mindless TV. Blue light, all the research shows that blue light delays melatonin production by a small percentage, but it's what we are consuming is the bane of how we actually go to bed at night. Like I said, if you've just been smashing reels and you're like, I can't do this, but if you and Daniel are taking a trip down, I don't know, 1850 BC, and you guys are having a great time down there in the catacombs and you're enjoying it all, brother, enjoy it. Let me know what Jesus is up to down there.
But you also have the really strong blue light filters on the iPhone if you have an iPhone. I mean, probably on the Android as well. So you can turn it on and it completely blocks the blue light.
Yeah, I do turn those on, but I still know it's probably not ideal.
Yeah. No, but Liam, I flip that script. It's not ideal. It works for you. Why are you saying that? It works for you, brother. Full stop. Move on. It's not ideal for some other people, but it's ideal for you, Liam. So work it.
Perfect.
That's good. I was feeling so bad about having to ask that
Nah.
question, so thanks for that, Liam.
We've got a win for you, Daniel. Actually, you boys got to send me your YouTube histories after this as well. Now I'm going to do and analyze everything as well. I'm on to you, lads.
I love it.
You got to be interesting but boring at the same time. So,
yeah, that's the formula.
Yeah.
I in the lead up to Marbella and Basso recently, I was having terrible night's sleep. Like whether it was pre-race nerves or whatnot, I just was having real bad sleep episodes. And I ended up, I spoke to Geordie about this, and we ended up, May and I, every single night would just put a movie on, and she can't sleep through movies, right? She would just end up watching the whole thing. But as soon as I started watching it, I would just pass out, and I started getting wicked sleeps. And I did that literally all the way up to Buster every single night. It became such a routine. So it's like you said, it's what works. Geordie, you mentioned the word melatonin before. I think we all roughly know what melatonin is, but can you sort of link melatonin to like what it is first, and then link it to sort of like what you spoke about before with sleep pressure? Like try and
I'll simplify it in really simplistic terms, right? It's the gun that starts the process of sleep. I want to be really specific with that. It's the gun that starts the process of sleep. It doesn't get you to sleep. That's why these big farmers are making huge cash selling melatonin products, because it's almost no greater than placebo, right? So how do we produce melatonin? Darkness, right? The moment we start seeing darkness, it starts shaving off our cortisol, it starts getting us ready, right? So in its most simplistic form, it is the gun that starts the race to get us to sleep. It does not get us to sleep. So if you've built up healthy sleep pressure throughout the day, if you've done all the right things, if you've adhered to eating at specific times of the day, your melatonin production increasing is going to be fantastic for you over the period of the entire night, leading into your wind down period. And then when you wake up in the morning, sun then eradicates your melatonin. We start the cortisol secretion. So melatonin is really, really important. But please, if you are using melatonin supplementation, it's just you're using it as a comfort. We can produce it ourselves. And if you are, there is times when yes, you are traveling, and I do believe there is room for it. But if you're just an everyday Joe using melatonin every night, it's actually ruining the quality of your sleep.
Like the electrolytes theory. We had a big chat about electrolytes, really, and debunking that. Anyway, Katos, I can see you've taken your mic off, mate.
Yeah. Speaking of traveling, What is your opinion on tackling jet lag?
Yeah, great question, Katos. I recently went back to Australia, which is what is that plus, I don't know, 9, 10
And
hours, right?
yeah,
And you,
9, 10.
the first thing you got to do, Katos, is you've got to get into the time zone straight away, and you've just got to bite the bullet. And that is, if you, let's say, whatever time you land, you've got to try to figure it out as hard and fast as you can to then eat meal times in that time zone, do a workout in that time zone. It's so specific to be able to avoid jet lag. There are things you can do. My first time I went back to Australia, I got smacked with jet lag. The second time I didn't. Is it a coin toss? Did I get it right the second time? Who knows, right? But if you are traveling somewhere for an event, Kados, and it is a ginormous shift, plus or minus in time zones, I would then recommend getting to that place a good 3 days earlier, 4 days earlier, just from a psychological point of view, just to get yourself settled in, because you've put all this time and effort and work into an Ironman per se. And if you're rolling the dice because you want to rock up there on a Friday night and you've got race day Sunday, you're probably not doing yourself the best favor in doing that, because it is a massive thing.
Aid is traveling to New Zealand in less than 2 weeks' time to do a race, and we'll be going against the time zone. So I think you're heading in 3,
Yeah.
4 days earlier, Kate?
I think, yeah, race is on the 7th, and I land at like 5 a.m. on the 5th.
Where are you from,
Mm.
Kados?
I was born in South Africa, and I moved to Australia when I was about 12 or 13.
Okay, so we're just going from Australia to New Zealand, though?
Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Brisbane.
Australia to
Yeah,
New Zealand.
yeah, you're sweet, lad. Don't stress. What's
Yeah.
New Zealand ahead?
It's only like 3 hours, so I'm
Yeah,
not too stressed.
yeah. And when are you getting there, Kados?
2, 3 days beforehand.
Yeah, that's fine. If anything over that, and just get into the time zone as soon as possible, Kados. If you have to stay up a little bit later, do some sleep restriction, whatever it is. But I would also say that you're going to be up and about. You're going to be really excited for it, or just have a little plan. But also, if plans shift and change, that's all you need to what. You've already done the work, Kados. You're not going to get any fitter leading up to that. It's just about getting your mind, body, and soul ready for what's
Yeah.
coming up, which is a sub
Cool.
10, I'd
Thank you.
imagine. Kados, is it?
Oh man, I will. Oh, it's a half, but I
Ah,
want sub 6,
He's
but
sub
he
flirting
wants
6.
with
sub
sub
10
five at
later.
the
He wants
moment.
sub 10
Yeah.
later in the year, though, don't
Yeah,
you?
we're all
Yeah,
coming
that's the
after
goal.
Coe. Don't worry, we're all coming after Coe. That's what I want to see in this group. I'm going to train you up to be an elite level sleeping group, and we're going to beat Coe.
That's so good.
I fucking love this.
But
Speaking of
apparently,
elite level sleeping, oh, sorry, Jan, go on.
apparently the flight is like just also about the like altitude of the commercial airlines. It really messes you up. So we need private jets by Coe, so we can be at
Yeah,
lower altitude.
Yeah,
I'm working on it, mate, all right? I might have to bump my
yeah.
prices up
Subscription.
if we want that sooner.
I was going to say, I think I think you guys are paying me like, I don't know, like 40 grand for this, boys. So I'll be living
Yeah.
large. Don't worry about that.
Well, that's it, boys. I'll be setting you all an invoice after this, definitely. Nah, look, lads, I'm
Sub 10
conscious of
branding
time.
on the
I missed that, Jan. Can you go?
that sub 10 branding on the
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
plane. I am conscious of time, and I'm looking at Lewis's screen here. It's nearly 9 p.m. in Melbourne where he is, and that is looking like an awfully bright light that you've got on there, mate. So we might have to start winding this up. Do we have any other questions for Geordie before we let him go?
I've
Yeah,
got
no?
one quick one. You've spoken a lot about meal timing. I'm just curious with dinner, is there like a ideal time before bed that you don't want to, like, is 90 minutes too close, 2 hours, 3? Is there a rough time, or it's not, as long as it's the same time every day, that's more important?
Yeah, I would say, Liam, your body's so different to my body. Your body's so different to Coe's body, Finn's, everybody's, right? You have to test yourself what works. Everyone, again, generalist advice, 2 hours beforehand. These are great guidelines, but what if you're fucking starving? What if you're
Yeah.
really hungry? What if you need more food? What if you need all these things, right? So, yeah, an hour and a half is fantastic as a general guideline, but if you're pumping like a massive meal before bed, then you're probably going to need 2.5 hours. If you're pumping a light meal before bed, you might only need an hour. So you've really got to start developing and feeling what works for you. And your body will let you know, because we generate so much serotonin in our gut. Now, if you piss off your gut, guess what's going to do to you? It's going to piss you off, right? So you've got to figure out a way, Liam, to go, this meal works for me after X. All this is a game of chess. Sleep, right? It's all you're just doing little movements to see what works for you. Okay, this works for you. Bang, stick with that. right? And don't divert from it. But also at the same time, Liam, things are going to change, plans are going to change, but have a generalist idea and view when to eat food. And again, general is 90 minutes, 2 hours before bed, sure. But if you're starving, brother, you got to eat.
Easy.
I think the key there is we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago on these calls is like trusting your intuition, listening to your body, and then just being able to go, I know what I need right now, and then just backing yourself in. Like it's really good having Geordie here telling us and giving us insights and stuff, but all of you boys, including myself, we all know what we need deep down, and we just got to listen to it. We just got to trust our intuition. So I think that's a key
Chloe, just
takeaway
on just on
in,
that,
in training as well.
I helped out a guy who high performer, everything's well. Guess how we got his sleep better? I confiscated his Aura ring. I was listening to his Aura ring too much. I took it off him. I said, brother, just start trusting your gut. Start trusting you. And guess what? By 5 or 6 weeks, he's like, fuck, I feel like a different person. Yeah, no shit. You know what to do as a human. You just have to go and do it. Sometimes we have too much. We're in the age of too much advice, too much optimization, right? Sometimes if you're having a bad stretch of sleep, first thing I do, get the Garmin off, only use it for training, because you are now vulnerable and you're listening to voices that is a algorithm, is a device that is giving you a score judged on heart rate, everything as well. And I know you guys are like, oh, but I got to make sure. No. I say it all the time. If you are stressing about it with yourself, go back to the basics and listen to you as a human, not a device that is designed to make money off you.
Nels, I can see you've taken your mic off.
Go
Come
on,
on,
Nels. What do you
give
got for me,
us
brother? You've been lurking in the back. You better be bringing the heat.
Now I've got 3 kids, so let's say my alarm is a 6 to 6:30 wake up, and then the little prick's waking up at 5:30. Do you recommend just staying up from then on and getting outside and getting some sun, or going back and getting the extra ed?
Just Nels, if we're going for sub 10, get rid of the kids, brother. Where can we ship them off for a whole year?
Oh,
That's where we're
mate, straight
going.
to your place. What's the
Yeah,
address?
yeah.
UPS?
Mate, I live in Battersea Park, brother. I run a program out here in collaboration with Alex Coast
Oh,
Sub 10. So nah, Nels, you're in an unfortunate predicament, but this is also the realization. If you're a parent, you're now a shift worker, especially when you have young kids.
Oh, it sucks.
Right?
I've
And
told
that
I've told Alex already to get a vasectomy. I just did mine 3 children too late. That's all.
But you know what, Nels? How good is that sub 10 gonna taste, brother, when you're a father of 3, been grafting, grinding all the rest? But no, in all seriousness, Nels, if you're up early, you may as well. You're up. You're not going to go back to sleep, and I guarantee your kids aren't going to let you go back to sleep anyway. So if you're up, you're up.
Yeah, no, but you're
And
in the bed and you're like, fuck me, that hour looks mad right now. But then the problem is you go into another rhythm and then your alarm goes off and you're like, whoa.
great, yeah, that's I haven't touched on that. The snooze button is your enemy, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you're waking up, your body has produced cortisol to wake you up. Everyone goes, "Oh, cortisol is really bad." Yeah, cortisol's bad if we're abusing it and it's completely being summoned all the time. But we do need it to gradually wake us up. Now let's look at this as an example. If you wake up at 6:30 and you're like, "Oh fuck, I'll have a half an hour snooze," your body has produced cortisol to wake you up at 6:30. You're then going to go back to sleep. If you've entered a deep sleep, bang, wake up again, and you're also getting woken up by alarm. So you double shift, right? It's like, oh my God, I've just been woken up by alarm. And then my cortisol levels is like, get the fuck up. And you're starting the day on the back foot. Please, lads, alarms. I mean, our snooze button is the enemy of sleep. Do not do that.
Jordan, you
great
have any
advice.
thoughts on
Thank you.
NSDR? Last one on non-sleep
Sorry,
deep
Jan.
rest. You know, the Andrew Huberman stuff. Do you have any thoughts on that, or is it just
It-
bullshit?
Nah, I look. I to be honest, Jan, my way that I go about sleep is I try stay out of the science as much as I can. I am someone through lived experience. I don't have a PhD in science. I don't have any of the educational background, but I do understand humans and I do understand males really well, high competitive and high performing males. Those are my things, right? And my work lies between identity, behaviors, and habits. When the big dogs start throwing around all the science stuff and I read the literature, I'm like, awesome, lads. But is the average person or a high performing man able to consume and understand that? Probably not. I think Huberman's great. I think all the, look at guys like Matthew Walker, Huberman, even Chris Williamson has been a really good voice and reason of understanding where he is in terms of his own sleep. But I think if we digest way too much shit online and it starts to freak you out and it's like, oh my God, I now got to breathe out of my left nostril and walk backwards to get a better sleep. It's like, what are we doing here? We're just creating more shit for us to do. Let's strip
Yeah,
it
no, my
back.
friend swears by it. My friend swears by it, but
Yeah, but your friend swears by it because is he a fan of Huberman? Is he wanting to just flex
yeah.
yeah, there you go. I have so many people come up to me and like, oh Jordan, have you seen this method? I'm like, does it work for you? Yeah, cool. What do you what do you want me to say? Right? It's
Do
it's
it.
yeah, just if it works for you, just stick with it. If it doesn't work for you, change. Figure something out. It's okay. You're not alone through this process. And I always ask this question to somebody. It's so great. People come to me all the time like, oh, I'm a shit sleeper. I'm like, okay. Tell me about the sleep you had 2 Thursdays ago. Oh, so you're telling me you're a shit sleeper, or have you had a couple bad nights sleep? No, no, I've always been a really bad sleeper. No, you're not. You're feeding yourself that loop now, and you're convincing yourself you are a bad sleeper, but you can't tell me the sleep that you had 2 weeks ago. So how do you know that you're a bad sleeper? So it's all psychological in here, boys, and that's the thing you've got to work on. And when you're out there beating Coe's sub 9 and whatever it is, you'll realize that everything is just in your head, and you can train these habits, and you can continue this feedback loop, or you can use it in a negative frame and go, oh fuck, my sleep's so fucked, my training's really shit. It all feeds into when you hit the pillow at night, I deserve this sleep, I'm ready to go.
Boys, if you do need to go, feel free to jump off. It's
Yeah,
getting
yeah, go,
late,
go.
but I do
Yeah,
have
I have to
one
go.
other question.
Thank you
Oh, you
very
gotta go,
much, Jordan.
Caleb?
Appreciate it, Alex.
No worries,
Yeah,
man.
it's my girlfriend's birthday is on
Take care.
Valentine's Day, so we're doing it today.
Go,
So
Kato.
I've been summoned. I've been summoned.
Get
But
out of here,
thank you
brother.
very much, Antoine.
Go, go, go.
Sleep well. Bye
Thank you
bye.
for joining, man.
Sleep well, brother.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Sleep well.
See you, Daniel.
Um,
I'm in for the lock.
you
I'm going
Oh,
anywhere.
oh, good, mate.
So, Geordie, you just mentioned about people like, not being able to tell you the sleep they had, 2 Thursdays ago, right? I wear a watch and I like to track it on my watch and stuff, but you've multiple times said to me, like, log it, like, figure out, like, actually track on a spreadsheet or a different way to log your sleep. Tell us what you do, and then can you maybe give us a simplified version of it, or as simple as you can, because it's still something I'm not doing, and I think I really should. But it might be, yeah, good for the other boys to hear what you'd recommend.
Boys, get old school. Yeah. Pen and a nice, I have it's like, remember the old math books we work in with the squares, right? Well, I have that and I use it as data, as a habit tracking. And at my first month, I had everything. I was like, time I woken up, and I was like, what? I'm just doing the exact same thing that I said that I wouldn't be doing. I make it so specific about the habits that are helping me promoting a good night's sleep and the habits that are stopping me from having a good night's sleep, right? And I just cross them off one by one. I have it all written out, and I also have a theory called, and I took this off again. I've always referenced his work. I think he's fantastic, Nick Littlehales. It's called Download the Day. If you don't take time to stress about your day, guess when it shows up? In the nighttime, right? So, yeah, oh no, I don't want a diary. I don't want a journal. Stay anxious then, brother. It's not, I'm giving you the tools to be able to do this stuff and to be able to do it. And it's what's worked for me specifically. That's great. But it's what worked for a lot of my clients is your brain has to see a plan in place. And if you can't give me 5, 10 minutes of your day to track the habits that are good for your sleep and bad for your sleep, and then also write down what you're stressing about, you're setting yourself up to being anxious over a
So,
long period of time. Sorry, go on, Chloe.
like, wake up time, go to bed time, like, last meal time. What else? Like,
There's yeah, that I would even go like that's even
start
heaps,
with
right,
those.
Chloe? Yeah, I would start
Start with
with
those.
wake up time and a smiley face. That's all I did, all right? I did a wake up time, a smiley face, or a negative face, or an unhappy face.
Okay.
Why did I wake up feeling like that? Okay, well then let's look at my habits. Okay, late dinner, screen, doom scrolling. Okay, so I've got 3 crosses there. I wonder why I was anxious yesterday, because I'm looking at my bad habits that are aligned to my little unhappy face, right? And you start seeing all these patterns in real time, but you feel more compelled to do them if you write it out. If we keep going on the apps, oh yeah, I can see 3 days ago that I was like, it's we're trying to get off these things. I would
Oh,
if
so
these things
I
will
see.
destroy them.
I think I speak for Daniel here as well as myself though. Writing in a journal as opposed to say writing out on like an Excel spreadsheet where I can filter by data and understand it, give it to AI for reports and shit like that for me is if I am going to do it long term, way better for me. But you're saying don't do that. Is there?
No, I'm saying, Kelly, if that works for you, of course, let's always go down that method. But I'm saying if you don't have a base plan and you want to start fresh,
Yeah, dude.
get on the analogs. Let's get back out to old school, right? Because there's so much research and science behind your brain, and also from a memory point of view, right? And it's a dopamine. It's we're in a world of gamification, gentlemen. When you start crossing off those things, you go, oh, come on, I'm the big dog in the yard. I've been waking up at 6 a.m. this entire week. Who wants some? You know what I mean? So it's good, but again, if you're like Coey and then you want to be able to put on a spreadsheet, you want a ChatGPT to analyze it, and then you feel that ChatGPT is like you, the big dog in the yard, and you're getting a dopamine hit out of that, and it works for you, do it. There's no right or wrong answer, but
No right
the
or wrong.
question
All right.
the question is, if you are starting fresh, get old school. That's my recommendation.
I like it. I like it.
Yep.
Anything
I'm
else,
gonna need someone
gentlemen?
to send me a pen so I can get old school. I don't think I even own one.
I know that you love your ChatGPT, Daniel, don't you?
Ah,
I
Daniel.
certainly do.
Yeah,
Love
it's
all of
good,
them.
and it's good. I think ChatGPT and AI, where it's going, is fantastic. But I do believe there's going to be a massive shift from getting back in the old school. And again, if I didn't have to use my phone for my business or whatever it is, I'd be turfing it into the fire.
Anything else, gents, or are we calling it?
Good.
Boys,
Thanks very much. That was great.
mate, Geordie, these boys probably don't know, but you are an incredible man, and I'm so grateful for your time. He does not charge a small fee for this knowledge for helping other people, gents, and he has done it out of the goodness of his heart, helping us out today. And I think you've all got a lot from it, and from me, and I think I speak for every man. We're super grateful, and I hope we can do it again sometime.
Boys, I appreciate Coey inviting me here. I just want to leave you with one thing, right? It's just the enemy of sleep is effort. Right. So go back to the basics, strip it all back, find little things that work for you. They work for you. Awesome. Double down, go again, do it over again. Right. And all I want you guys to do is know that you can sleep. You're here because you have slept, and you're going to be able to sleep again and again and again. But it's what type of sleep are you getting that obviously counts the most. Best of luck, lads. And I hope to see you boys smash Coey's sub-9 over your journey. And Nelson, send me your kids, mate. SW11 4BG over here in London.
You can have
Yeah,
London.
attaboy.
You can have the whole UK. My wife's a pom. They're fucking freezing.
It's a great part, mate. It's a great part. But no, appreciate it all, lads, and best of luck with it. And feel free to, Chloe will put up my Instagram. If you've got any personal messages, lads, you
Yeah,
guys have taken the time to get out here. Shoot me a message. Hey, Jordan, this is what I'm saying. I'm happy to give you a voice note. Happy to give a bit of a G up, and we'll go from there.
I should have said that. I will I'll put into the group chat that I've got with the boys. I'll put your Instagram. Please go and follow him. He's got some funny content as well as good content. So yeah, get around Geordie. You've all met him now, and I'd be almost disappointed if we didn't go and follow his journey and stay in touch with him.
All the best, lads. Go get them.
Thanks, mate.
See you,
See you,
brother.
lads.
Thanks, Geordie. That was
Take
awesome.
care, boys.
Appreciate it.
Bye, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
See ya. Nice work, lads.
All right.
Beautiful. So what we